Welcome to the conversation. We're back, and the gang is all here talking about things that men sometimes think about but don't always say. The gang's all here. I've got Greg Kirkland.
Yes, sir.
D. Marcus Smith.
We back.
Jeff Fauntleroy.
Hey!
All in the house. Thank you for joining us, and we got a lot to talk about, so let's get to it. But first, we want to talk about the items on our table. I'm going to start. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Excuse all of the foolery.
My God.
But we got a Ben Roethlisberger bobblehead, greatest quarterback to ever play the game, and of course my Pittsburgh Steelers hat and an authentic terrible towel. So representing the great Steelers, 6 Super Bowls. Wait for number 7 this year. Great.
Oh my. Well, mine is self-explanatory. Mine is this microphone right here, and I started to make up a whole story about it. I started to say that it came from Ella Fitzgerald and that it was recorded on back in the 1940s. But the reality of it is, it's all the way from House of Hope, Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
It's been placed here for me, and I'm a singer. I've been singing since I was 4 years old, so it just makes sense for me to have that.
All right. DeMarcus, what about you?
Well, I've got, man, a couple of things on this table, man. This year, my late great mother-in-law gave it to me before she passed, and before she passed, she brought me into her office and she talked to me one-on-one and just wanted to remind me that every single day I have the opportunity to renew. I have a new day, a new opportunity to be great and not to dwell on the old things, the past me, the mistakes, the failures, even the successes from the past, but to really focus on the right now, focus on my opportunity to change the world and to leave my mark. And then, man, everybody that knows me knows my heartbeat is my family, my wife, my kids. So I have a picture of my beautiful wife, Chastity, and a book that my kids gave me. And it's my constant reminder every day of my why, my heartbit, my passion.
Sure.
They give me permission to be great. They count on me. Man, it's just unconditional. So my charge every day is no matter what happens, at the end of the day, whether the day was dark, I know that their smiles, their laughter is going to bring light to me. But it's my reminder every day to not fail them. And even if I do fall, I know that it's okay because they're rooting for me. They're in my corner. So that's what I have.
Love it.
Man, that was so beautiful.
I know.
I feel like you want to cry, man.
Thank you for making me look back
Yeah,
over here with
man.
this
Yeah,
microphone.
I don't have anything
Pictures of your
that
wife
deep,
and books
man.
of your
But
family.
you know,
I love my wife and family too.
I just got, I wore the badge for 25 years, man. So I'm a proud member of the Blue. And along with wearing the blue, the badge, the blue, the proud, I also wore the man of the cloth.
Mama.
And so these two statues remind me of my time, past and present. And then, of course,
Raggedy.
the
Raggedy.
highest budgeted football team in the NFL.
Mama.
We don't even need a name any longer. We're just the Washington football team.
Go Cowboys.
This is a reminder that we will probably be on the bench early. So
Already on?
this is
That's what that means. They're going to be on the sofa during the playoffs. All right. We got it.
It's not that
Are
funny.
we ready for the conversation?
It's hilarious.
So funny.
I'm so sorry.
Let's
really
start the
dumb.
Let's start the conversation.
Let's start the conversation.
You better start it. 'Cause between you and you, boy, y'all struggling. this
Whatever.
year.
Okay, I know.
All right, let's change gears. Does the typical idea of romance, flowers, cards, and candy, still exist? Does it still exist? Now, let me give you something before we go. On yourtango.com said, this is what women want.
On what?
On who? Yourtango.com. Y'all got, there's a lot of
You
information.
messed up already. You messed up already. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Who goes to that?
Well, listen.
Email me, please.
Hold on, Jeff.
Have you ever heard
Jeff.
of Tango?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Stop yourself.
Women want surprises. They want to be shown off. They want you to really listen. They want PDA, and they don't want you to hold
Whoa. They want what?
PDA.
What's that?
Public displays of affection.
Man, please.
You've been at the game a while. Let's talk about it. I believe.
Since he bought the picture in the
Yeah.
book.
Since I brought the love,
Since he's so romantic.
Let him start.
I feel real good today. You know what I'm saying?
Doghouse.
No, I feel romance is on a different level today. Like, one, it's shifted because what romance looks like to certain people is trash. But I believe the expectation of it varies, and I believe just as long as romance is genuine and it's authentic, it's intentional, most importantly, it's vulnerable, man, I feel it exists. It's just overshadowed today because you can buy a girl a 12-piece hot wing and she'll fall in love.
Yeah.
Lemon pepper extra crispy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But that's romance to her, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's it, man.
Come on,
But
now.
for me in my house, you know, that
Yeah.
thing is a little different.
Yeah,
than-
I'm gonna have to do a little more than that.
No, you know what? Yeah, you're right, man. I think that romance now, man, is getting to know a person's love language.
Right. Yeah.
You've got to be intentional on the person that you are pursuing so that you know exactly what the likes and dislikes are. The typical stuff, man, I got in trouble with that early on as I was courting my wife. Man, I went and brought this beautiful mink coat, man, and something else. And man, that coat, man, stayed in that closet, man, for a while. I was like, hey, you ever gonna wear this? She's like, yes, it's okay. I'm like, you know how much money? But, hey, man, we went to Home Depot one time. We were redoing the house.
Yeah.
And her and her sister got in there, man, and it was like a woman at Neiman Marcus.
Wow.
I said, oh,
That's what it is.
that's what it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I had it all wrong. I was trying to go the traditional route.
Wow.
Instead of being intentional and finding out what the love language
What
is.
matters
You
to
understand?
her.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, the flowers and the candy, it don't work.
Gotcha.
But it's, you know,
Let me
some of the other
I have
stuff.
a question.
Yes.
Was it a mink coat or was it a Tibar coat? You know what Tibar is, don't you?
I don't
Rabbit
know.
spelled backwards.
That rabbit was getting old. Yeah, coordinate.
Greg, what about you?
Well, first of all, you mentioned a mink coat and something else. So when we get off, I want to find out what that is. But anyway, you know, I just have to agree with you. You know, one of the things that I have learned, you know, with my wife is just paying attention to her. Yeah. Paying attention to the things that matter to her. So romance, there are moments where the big things matter.
Yeah.
You know, and the big romantic things matter, but then for the most part, we do life together every day.
Yeah.
So it's the everyday things that matter to her. The paying attention to when she wears a new dress, paying attention to when she changes her hair,
Yeah.
paying attention to the little things that she needs. I always give this example of my dad. My father, in growing up, I always saw him bring something home. It might have been a bag of potato chips. It might have been, you understand what I'm saying? A pack of Skittles. It might have been something, but it was something that my mom appreciated.
Yeah.
And it was the little things, you know, and he still to this day does that.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was able to pay attention to that and learn that it's the little things that lead to the, to the big moments.
Absolutely. And I guess,
Yeah.
you know, you think about the traditional view of that, the big bouquet of flowers, the rings and all that.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think it's all relative to what that person wants.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you can give all the stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you don't have any time that you spend with them, that's not, you know.
Absolutely.
Slow bake. Slow bake.
Right.
Man,
Slow bake.
listen.
Slow bake.
I saw a movie. We watched a movie recently with Chris Rock. It was called Spiral. It's the new Saw.
new Saw, yeah.
He made a statement in there where because he had lost his wife and to divorce, she left him, and he said, "You can give a woman 1,000,000 Tuesdays, but you skip out on 3 Saturdays,
Wow.
and she gonna pay attention."
Wow.
And that resonated to me. That said something to me, you know.
Wow.
And I recognize that you have to do the things that are most important.
I don't really understand that, but it sounds so deep.
So what does that mean?
What he was saying was that she was always fussing at him because she missed out on. He would miss out on special occasions because he's a detective.
Yeah.
So he works holidays, he works weekends, he works, and so he was
Okay.
upset that she would miss the trip to his mother-in-law's house, or he would miss a part of the holiday
Right.
Thanksgiving because he had to go
Okay.
out to be, you know. So, but his thing was, I was home during the week
I got you.
every week. So
Okay.
his thing was, you can give a woman 1,000,000 Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But if you miss 3 Saturdays,
I'm
she'll
glad you
remember
broke that
forever.
down, man. That makes
And so it just makes sense. But in essence, what I took from it was that it's about the things that matter
Yeah.
Absolutely.
most.
Yeah.
And it's not always about what matters to you.
Right.
There you go.
It's about what matters.
Yeah, yeah.
And being able to
Learning that
identify.
love language of the
Yeah.
other person, being
Absolutely.
intentional.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about love language. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know, people have love languages. I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but I mean, it is what it is. After years, I mean, we've been married 30 years, so we know each other's language without even saying anything. But that took time.
Sure.
It took intention to try to know, okay, if I do this, this is the response I'm gonna get. You know, again, I always say the then what's. You know, if I do this, this is what I'm gonna get. You know, my goal is always to have the remote at the end of the day. So, and the big pillow. So it's a love language that you learn. It's the things that you don't even have to say,
Right.
that you do,
Right.
and knowing that this is going to please my mate, this is going to please each other. If I do this, if I come home
Right.
and things are in disarray, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
When she comes home, make sure the house is clean.
Right.
You know, just little things.
Right.
When you learn that person's love language, there's things that you don't have to say, but you just do,
because
and it
it's-
makes everything right.
Because it's their love language.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
what they're receptive to.
Exactly.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
their
respond.
love
Yeah.
language.
Speaking to them.
Speaking
Speaking
directly to 'em.
specifically
Yeah,
to
I
them.
can say
So
I
their
love you
lang-
all I want,
But if that's
but
not
I got to
their love
show
language,
you.
Absolutely.
I got to show you that I love you.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I know my uncle used to always say, and my cousins, what you did to get them.
Yes, sir.
You got to do that to keep
You have to
them.
keep doing.
Yes, sir.
So you know.
Yes,
so
sir.
again, and sometimes people that you get out of the box trying to impress somebody
Yeah.
at the very beginning, and if you can't keep that out, keep
Yes,
that
sir.
lifestyle
Sure,
up,
sure. Yes,
that's when
sir.
you find yourself in trouble.
That's
Yeah.
called the representative.
Yeah, that's why you try to ease into this thing now.
Right, that's right.
Take your time.
Yeah,
That's
don't
right.
go to, hey,
Right.
hold on, slow down now. Slow bait,
Yeah,
slow bait.
because it doesn't stop after
Slow
you get
bait.
the person. You
Absolutely.
gotta, you know,
No, man.
that thing is romance should be a lifestyle.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. You don't boil everything.
Absolutely.
Some things you put on 275 at 9 in the morning,
Hey.
and wait
Email
until
him.
4.
Email
And it's-
him.
Okay,
Let me ask you
I'm
this.
sorry. I'm sorry. It's slow
Best
bait.
romance movie you've ever seen.
Lord.
Oh,
Oh,
That's hard.
Best
man.
romance.
That's
Pick one.
hard.
best romance movie.
Romance movie.
It's a lot. Now,
Oh man.
I'll be honest with you. So, my wife would say Love Jones.
oh
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually would say The Notebook.
Oh, love it.
Watch it every time it come on.
Love it.
The Notebook is
yeah.
that's my movie
Yeah.
for romance.
Yeah, I got
That's
it.
what I like.
All right. Michael?
What you Demarcus? He laughing.
I saw the Notebook.
Come on, man.
He's a millennial, so it's probably
So it
something
was a
with
little
Disney.
different. Yeah, it was a little different when I saw it. Because I was looking at these people like, what's wrong with y'all? Best romance movie?
Best one.
I honestly can't think of one. I can't think of one.
All right, well,
I would say I'm just gonna roll with Love Jones, man.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's 3 that come to mind. Love Jones, definitely, but there's one called Someone to Watch Over Me,
remember
and The
that.
Bodyguard, and I relate to it from my law enforcement days, and that's the end of my story.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Love and Basketball.
Somebody was gonna say that.
That's
Was gonna say Love and
Annihilation, so you
Basketball.
can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, you can't go wrong
You
with
can't go wrong.
Annihilation.
You can't go wrong. All
Yeah,
right.
okay,
All
I'll
right.
go with that.
All right, that was a good conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Conversations are now. Let's get in. That's debatable.
Oh,
Y'all ready to
gosh.
debate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's
Let's
debate.
go. Let's go.
Okay, now, this is going to be a little interesting topic.
Yes, sir.
What are we telling our kids about sex and relationships?
Oh my God.
We know in the churches that they talk about just abstinence is the only way. But so many shows now and in the music, it's kind of making sex common.
Oh,
Yeah.
not
It
kind
makes
of.
it makes it common. So
Not
what
kinda.
are we teaching them? What are we talking about with our kids as far as sex and relationships?
Well, Ron, it's in all seriousness, it's an education. Again, I go back to the 2 things to talk about: the then what's and the return on investment. That was the role that I took with the kids. It was, listen, here's what happens. If you do this, if you're not married, these are the things that could take place. And then these are the ramifications throughout your life that you have to deal with.
That's good. That's good.
There's a health factor that you may have to deal with. There's a life factor that you have to deal with because you're going to be tied to this person for the rest of your life, whether you want to or not, because of a moment of pleasure.
Yeah.
So think about these things and educate them on what takes place if you do that.
Sure.
And I think the education of the what happens if you do lets them think.
Sure.
I'm not trying to scare them one way or the other, but if we're going to do this, this is life. It's going to happen.
Sure.
So let's talk about what the realities are from the results of what you do.
Sure.
I believe, like, coming up, I believe a fear of, like, my mom, she had a fear of talking to me about it because she didn't know what to talk about.
Wow.
Right? And I believe that kind of creeps into any parent's mind. It's not a fear of not wanting to talk, but trying to make sure it's the right time, trying to make sure you don't expose them to something too soon. But one of the things, I can't say what a lot of parents are teaching, but I believe we have to teach beyond just the known outcomes.
Yeah.
So we've got to teach beyond the pregnancy. We've got to teach beyond the possibilities of contracting something, but we have to teach about the depth of it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
The emotional attachments,
Right.
what it has on your mentality.
Yeah.
You know, when we see teen dating violence, you know, because that feeling was one thing, but you don't know how deep that thing hit
Yeah.
you.
Right. Yeah.
And now, you know, the student is acting crazy or the person's acting crazy, et cetera.
Right.
And then even with the teaching aspect of it, like my son, it's at a point where there's no right time. There's not a perfected time to start having a discussion. You got to have it.
Sure.
And I know we were talking about that one time where we were just kicking it in the parking lot, and I believe he asked me the question. I'm like, man, even as a youth pastor, I've created content now to start introducing it here, just in case parents have
Don't
a
know how.
hesitancy.
Sure.
But even bringing them in, getting their input, having a curriculum to discuss with the students, open conversation, because if we don't, you've got them learning from
Their peers.
music and the social media, or piecing it together themselves.
Yeah.
Based off of conversations. I know that's what I did.
Yeah.
The
Right.
locker
And
room
these little-
conversations.
Listen, these little girls don't look like the little girls I grew up with.
but all in all, you know, it's just, I believe it's something that has to happen, just like a racial conversation, just like a
Yeah.
love conversation.
Sure.
Teaching beyond just the
Yeah.
basic surface,
Right.
Yeah.
but really, and then making a conscious effort to listen, ask them what they know about it
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
That way, as parents, as their
That's good.
influence, we're able to tell truth.
Sure.
Right? Versus, like I said, the stuff they piece together in the locker room. You remember locker room days, you know, you get in there, you get asked a question and you lie, you know, because you don't want to
Yeah.
look a certain way.
Right.
But even in the lie, you're sitting listening
Sure.
to everybody,
Sure.
either whether it's a story or it's truth, say something, and now you take that note, you write it down, and that's your expectation.
Sure.
So I believe, man, we've got to start. There's no perfected time. It's a must. But going beyond just the basic stuff,
Sure,
man.
sure.
And if you don't know,
Yeah.
you've
Sure.
got support. You've
Yeah.
got people that, man, I don't know how to have this conversation. There's been plenty of parents that have come to me and say, listen, I believe my son is out doing some stuff.
Right.
I don't know how to talk to him. Can you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
And it's not going to be what I was taught. It's not going to be, you know, go out there and do what you do.
Sure,
You know?
sure.
But it's really, now even talking to our males, just really about understanding the emotional depth of it. Because,
Yeah.
you know, we don't talk about it.
Well, D, you said something that was really interesting, asking them their point of view also.
Absolutely.
Because I think as parents,
them
we
a
want to
dialogue.
always teach, and say,
You gotta hear
Right.
it.
without finding out where they are so
Right.
that you can start the conversation
Absolutely.
from that point.
Absolutely.
So you miss something
Absolutely.
when you don't ask them, well, tell me what you know.
Right,
Tell me
right.
what you think. Tell me
Right.
where you are in this.
Sure.
And you know it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah,
Either way.
yeah.
So either way,
Yeah,
we're going to be
either
here
way.
for an hour.
Right, right.
We're going to be here for 5 hours.
Right.
But we've been had
But
this
we're getting ready to talk.
conversation. Now, I don't know how to talk to my daughter about it.
Oh, Lord.
Or Reverend.
Greg, let's give you that.
So I'm looking at you now.
You got teenage daughters.
Well, listen. Well, first of all, let me tell you this.
And thank God that I don't have daughters.
It's your fault. But no, listen. First of all, to your point about being asked in the locker room, they never asked me because I was always a church boy, so I was unassuming. They just assumed I wasn't doing nothing. So, but being unassuming was a blessing to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, but you asked me about having daughters and how I have that conversation. Well, one of the ways that I have tried, one of the things I have tried to do is always be open.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by always be open, what I mean is that I've never been the person that jump off the handle if they come and ask me anything.
Right. Right.
It didn't matter what they asked me,
Right.
no matter how off the wall the question. And they have asked me some off the wall questions, even as little girls
Yeah.
prior to becoming teenagers. But what I've always made it a practice and point to do is never jump off the handle.
That's right.
I can't lose my cool because I want them to feel okay with coming to me.
That's
okay?
right.
So that was the first thing. The second thing that I always tried to make a practice of doing is watching my verbiage. So by that, what I mean is that I always alluded to sex, even if sex wasn't the actual topic of conversation. Even in making alluding to it, I would always say, between a husband and a wife.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would always say, when you get older and you get married.
Right, right. Okay.
And without even beating
So you
them down
set the
with the Bible.
example.
Exactly.
Yeah, you set the
It was just
example.
in my verbiage. It was just in the
Right.
way I
So what the
I
image
explained
should
it.
be. I like
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
I tried to approach it from that aspect so that it's not like shoving it down their throat.
Right, right.
Then to go a little further, I'm a person where I'm like this. I'm going to give you the Bible.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Yeah.
My job is to give you the Bible first.
Yeah.
I got to give you that first. And then from there, we'll unpack that.
Yeah.
And we will look at there's some biblical side and then there's some realities.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Because they could turn around and ask, I've always prepared myself of what happens when they flip the question and ask me, did I do what the Bible said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my.
Then we got a whole different conversation.
good, man.
Then that's debatable.
Yeah,
You
that's
understand
good.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
so
good.
so when those questions come, you got to be prepared for them.
That's
But
right.
then you also have to be prepared to give them Bible,
Yep.
but then from the Bible explain these are my desires for
Right.
you that I have for you. My desire for you would be that you would wait until you have a husband and that you would wait. But if you don't,
Right.
like you said,
Yeah.
but if you don't,
Right.
I want you to consider these things as well.
Right.
And be comfortable
that's-
with coming
Man,
and talking.
That's good. And
I
I have
learned
mine
so
is
much.
very similar to that with my sons. I tell them what as parents our desire for you is this.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But also what I don't want to do is have them be ignorant.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Right. Right.
And,
right.
and so
The
to
buck
talk
can't
about
stop there.
because what I don't want them
Yeah.
to do, I don't want them to be afraid of sex.
Right.
As if this is
Right.
a
Exactly.
monster
That's
that's
right.
going to just
That's right.
consume you and kill you.
That's
Now there
right.
are things you should know about.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
and I've even talked to them about how far you go, and if a girl says no to this, it's
That's it.
no to that.
Yeah.
And all of
Oh,
the,
yeah.
If she say no to
don't
this,
say-
it's no to
read the
everything.
body language.
Just
no,
not.
and
No is no.
specifically, if a girl lets you
Yeah.
hold her hand, then that's all you do.
Yeah.
If a girl lets you do this, that's all you do.
That's it.
You don't do anything
Right.
unless permission. Because
Right.
and also I've told you don't talk about
Right.
Right.
what you've done with somebody
Yeah, yeah.
to
Absolutely.
destroy her reputation. So it's
Absolutely.
more than just the act. There's a responsibility that comes
Yeah.
along with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, like
That's
you
good
said, that
stuff,
emotional
man.
part is good too, but there's a responsibility you have when you are experiencing that with somebody. Because
for
again,
sure.
the reality is our children won't always tell us when it has happened.
Right.
Absolutely.
So at least we've equipped them with
Yeah.
what we desire for them to do and what's healthy. You mentioned that again. There's a health factor to this
Right.
that's
Yeah.
very serious.
Right.
Because it's not like you have sex and then immediately afterwards you know something's wrong.
Right.
It's
Right.
down
It's
the
time.
road.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
it'll
Yeah.
tell on
Absolutely.
itself.
Yeah.
So I think
So
we
it's
just owe it to them.
education.
Yes,
Absolutely.
education. That's education.
You know,
That's
and it's
education.
open dialogue. And
Yeah.
I'll go even one step further. I'll be honest with you. I make it a practice to say crazy stuff to my wife in front of my daughters.
Yeah, man.
I make it a practice to flirt and you
Yeah.
know
That's good.
and say something that's off the wall
Yeah.
that makes my daughters cringe.
Yeah.
I do it on purpose.
They cringe, but I guarantee you that
They
it's
taking
good,
notes.
healthy.
They taking notes.
It's healthy
Yeah.
for them.
Because-
they say ew,
Listen,
but they love that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because my thing to my
Absolutely.
girls is this: make sure that you get you a man that talk crazy to you,
That's
that,
right.
that appreciates
Right.
what you
Right.
have to
Absolutely.
offer.
They see the intimacy within mom and dad.
Exactly. And
that's
they
the
enjoy
expectation.
that.
Right.
They enjoy that.
That's
you know.
good.
And
Well,
I-
you know,
I tell you, I learned something, man. Matter of fact, listen, I can't wait to have more kids. I know what to
Well, you
do.
go ahead.
What?
And I was actually honest with my sons. I
That's
told my
debatable.
sons that I told my sons that I didn't wait.
Right.
Because I wanted them to understand that if you don't wait, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Absolutely.
If you don't wait. So, you know, so you sometimes that
But this is
transparent
what
moment-
goes with
Right,
that.
absolutely.
know,
This is
for
what
sure.
goes
This
with
is what
not
goes
waiting.
Now, they
This
might
is
have
what-
already assumed that. Because they don't,
But it's the education.
but it's the,
Yeah.
it's the education.
It's necessary. You know, I never got the quote unquote sex talk.
I did not.
I
know.
never got that.
I don't
No.
think our parents. I
got it.
My,
You know-
I got it from my. I had two older cousins.
Yeah.
Who gave it to me,
Yeah.
and what they focused on is this is how.
Yeah.
Focus on that.
Listen, what I got from
See,
my
listen to
mama
that.
is leave that little fast hussy alone.
You know, that's-
She ain't no
that's-
good.
that's-
Well, listen, you know, I'm a movie buff, so my dad, if y'all have ever seen Boys in the Hood,
Yes, sir.
there was a little scene where Trey and his dad was out fishing, and his dad had a little conversation with him and made him a little. That's the talk that I got from my dad. So if you want to know what my dad said to me, go watch Boys in the Hood and get to that scene where they around and they fishing. You'll see what my dad had to
Yeah,
say
the
to me.
OGs in the
That's
neighborhood
what I
gave
got.
us the talk.
Absolutely.
They gave us the talk. And even in the talk with the OGs in the hood, it was, hey man, just keep your hands off her and respect it.
Wow.
Oh, for sure.
Keep your hands
That's
off her
great.
and respect
Yeah.
it.
So let me ask you this. So how is television in the music? Is it helping
Oh, it's horrible.
or hurting?
Nah.
Oh, it's hurting.
I believe
It's hurting.
it flows with time.
Oh, it's hurting,
Because
man.
the reality is, whether it's, I mean, every generation always has that conversation about entertainment music and
That's
all
true.
of that,
And
right?
you can
It'll
go
never
back,
fade.
you can go back to Aretha Franklin,
Yeah,
giving him something that he can
Yeah,
feel.
our
All these
generation,
different
yeah.
things. It was back in the
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
yeah. I mean, me and Mrs. Jones, clean up
For
woman.
sure.
So every generation
Every
had that
generation's
music.
had it,
Had
but
that music.
where we are today absolutely looks different from the past, solely based off of our kids are absolutely exposed to everything,
Everything.
all the time.
That's true.
And so,
Yeah.
from an entertainment industry standpoint, I'm going to feed into what they already know. So my son can watch, at this point, my kids can watch Avengers, they can watch PG ratings, and it's still going to be
still
there.
there.
The
Yeah,
concept,
it's
the
still
idea
there. Yeah.
parents are catching. Even when you're watching
Yeah.
Disney Pixar movies,
Yeah.
they're
It's there.
dropping things in them.
there.
Yeah.
And we'll double take.
Yeah.
And they just giggling and chuckling, but
Yeah.
we know it's getting in there.
Right. Yeah.
So I believe they just speak
Yeah.
to the time.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's not messing up this,
No.
so they
Right.
not finna stop.
Yeah.
I think the music is so raw. I think the difference, you look at the music back in the 70s and 80s, you listen to that music, it talks
was
about these
innuendo.
things, but it was suggestive.
Yeah.
But now you turn on the song, they're saying,
Oh, yeah.
well, you know,
Oh, yeah. They're going right to it.
I grew up on BET Uncut, so I was already.
But you know what? I was
I was
watching
already
that cartoon
exposed to it.
called The
Email him.
Impossibles.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had the family. They were superheroes. And, you know, some of the women, I'm like,
Even the way they
Wait a
they
minute.
draw
Wait
it,
a
they draw
minute.
the shape and the
This is
animation.
cartoon.
of it.
The animation.
There's a cartoon.
I'm like,
the
wait a
boy,
minute.
He's a teenager. I can't think of the name of it. You might know he's a teenager, and he has like an imaginary dragon friend, and it's going through puberty, and it's one of the
Really?
I wish I could think of the
I
name
have
of it.
not heard of
I
it.
can't think of the
Oh,
name of it,
God.
but it's one of the most. It's raw.
Yeah.
It's raw.
It's like the Boondocks.
It's raw like that. It's raw like that. So
Yeah.
But even with that though, even when we think about it, like as raw as it is, like even when me growing up on what I grew up on and what I was exposed to and seeing, at the end of the day, they don't have a responsibility to our kids.
Absolutely.
Right,
we
we
do.
do.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So even
Yeah,
when
their
you
responsibility is
catch
cash.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree
you
with
catch
that.
it, you see it, you
I agree
hear
with
it.
that.
Yeah.
As a parent, some of we bop into it, but we have
Right.
to make that call to say, "Eesh,
Right.
Yeah.
let's dial
That's
back."
why you gotta
Yeah.
be involved.
Absolutely.
You
I
agree.
cannot use
I
all of
agree.
these different things as a babysitter.
As babysitters. No.
You gotta
You
be
gotta know what they
involved,
listen
man.
to.
Yeah,
You gotta
man.
know what they watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And look, good topic again. We seem to always run out of time with these great topics again. As always, guys, thank y'all for another great conversation.
Yes,
sir.
And for you out there, again, we don't know all the answers. We're just giving you our opinion based on our experience. But again, we do know that regarding sex and your kids, have some kind of conversation.
Yeah, please.
You and your spouse, your significant other, or even see a professional about it. It's that important.
It is.
Okay. Again, we thank you so much for joining us again for this episode. Stay tuned for the next one. We promise more good information and a great conversation. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Take care.